You are being considered for the amazing opportunity of life. If you are selected, you will have the chance to be born in a fruitful environment where you can grow, develop, and accomplish.
How long is this process?
If you make it until the end, 9 days.
9 Days is a movie that I was highly looking forward to when I first heard about it. I didn't know that it existed upon its initial release. And I'm looking at my phone right now because I'm an idiot. And I need to do my research because Google's your friend, bruh. And so this movie, I guess it was supposed to come out in 2020, but it was initially released on July 30th, 2021. Now, remember, I saw the trailer for this movie, and I was very intrigued, because I like movies like this. I like movies that are like, for example, A Ghost Story, starring Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, I think her name is. A meditation on life. A meditation on life, death, what people think life is. And a lot of people want to say that movies like that are very, what's the word? I don't know, like preachy or like pretentious. That's the word I was looking for. Some people think movies like that are pretentious, and you can say whatever you want because it's all opinion. All movies are subjective. But I like movies like this. Like, if I was a director, I would totally direct movies like this. I would totally direct movies like this. So at this point, I realized the AC turns on, and I thought I had turned it off before I started the review. But it won't shut off for some reason, so I'm getting incredibly frustrated here. You can see that I'm really getting angry, so I just unplug it. And I just throw it over there. And I'm thinking, okay, mission accomplished. Now I can just sit down, relax, and get back to the review. But then I realized that, oh shit, it's hot in here. So maybe turning off and unplugging the AC wasn't such a good idea.
Gonna cry?
So based on what Google says, because Google's your friend, it says that a man interviews 5 unborn souls to determine which one should be given a new life on Earth, with the unchosen ones facing oblivion. And that's what intrigued me, because from what I saw in the trailer, it looked like, okay, it stars Winston Duke, and he's some guy who is the in-between guy of life and death. And there's a bunch of people like Bill Skarsgård, who is Pennywise. I was like, there's a lot of stars in this movie. But we see these people, and they're being interviewed by Winston Duke, and he's interviewing them, determining if they are capable of being reincarnated or something like that. That's what I got from the trailer. And so just stuff like that, like I said, really intrigues me. I love movies that are like meditations on real life. So I was intrigued. It took me a while to watch this, but I eventually watched it. And it's a beautiful movie. This is a very beautiful movie. Like I said, it has a lot of stars in it. And I thought the actors in this were absolutely fantastic. We have Winston Duke, who plays Will. And he's just some guy who's hanging around this house in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And so when the movie starts, I'm like, what the hell is happening here? It's a slow movie. It's very slow. It's so slow to the point that I did feel a little bored watching it, but I was so intrigued because I want to know what's happening. And then once the layers start to get peeled back, we start meeting these other people like Bill Skarsgård, who plays Kane. Benedict Wong is in here. He plays Keo, and he's like an assistant to the Will character by Winston Duke. We have Zazie Beetz in here, who plays Emma, and she's the person being interviewed to, being chosen to come back to life. So there's all these like interesting actors in here, all these stars who I was like, I know that person. So that was cool. But then they have characters. I wouldn't say there's like an extreme amount of depth, but there's just enough to where we get to learn about them and what they think life is for themselves. Because the whole point, I think, is that Will is interviewing these people. Like, at first he's watching all of these people's lives play out on these old television screens, on these box TVs. So there's like lots of old retro style technology here. And so he's watching all of these people's lives on these old TVs, and it's like there are other, like there's this really good moment where Benedict Wong brings up, hey, there is this other lady who's watching these other people. So what if there are people who are watching our lives, and they're watching our lives, and then someone's watching them? So it's like kind of silly, but I thought it was pretty cool. And yeah, the actors in here I thought were great. I thought I understood the characters. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but like, for example, like Emma, she's different from everybody else. You know, the Zazie Beetz character, and then Bill Skarsgård's character Kane, he's one way, and then there's another guy in here who I thought was pretty interesting, Tony Hale, who plays Alexander, and he's like a guy, he's like, I just want to chill, I just want to relax. So each one of these characters have their own unique personalities. And then Will's kind of like the serious guy, and he has a past, and we don't know about his past, and then it slowly starts to get revealed throughout the movie. So the characters are very interesting. And it's a meditation on life, because I think a lot of the scenes in this movie are just mwah, they're absolutely beautiful. Like there's this one scene, for example, where there is this guy, and he wants to live this moment in time or in his life. He's like, I want to experience this. And so he's experiencing this moment that is created by Winston Duke and Benedict Wong's characters. And they create this moment for him. And it's such a beautiful moment. Like you soak it all in, and then you feel the character's energy, who's the character who's experiencing the moment. And it's just a visually appealing movie. It's visually appealing. It's beautifully directed, beautifully shot. I'm looking at the director's name here. I'm not good at pronouncing names because I think just people nowadays have just these weird names. I'm sorry. His name, I'm probably butchering it, but it's Edison Oda or something like that, and this is like his first feature-length film. And I tend to find that a lot of people who make their first feature-length film, because he's made a bunch of short films when I look at his filmography on IMDb, I find that people who make their first feature-length film, I end up enjoying it. So this guy is no exception. I think this movie is beautifully shot. Cinematography is great. Performances from everybody are fantastic. It's a slow movie, like I said, and it builds and it takes its time. It's a 2-hour movie, and I feel the runtime. I feel the 2 hours, but I think that it's warranted because it's executing all of these characters and showing their progression throughout the story and where their state of mind is. And we get to learn a lot about each one of these characters, including Will by Winston Duke. I thought that was very interesting. So I enjoyed watching the characters in here. I enjoyed the execution of the story. I enjoyed the visual narrative of the story. Like, there's a lot of beautiful visuals in here that are very just fantastically shot. So yeah, I think all the way around, this movie is beautiful. Beautiful narrative, beautiful, like, interesting characters, beautifully shot, beautiful cinematography. It's a beautiful movie. So just thinking about it, because I was thinking about it for so long, like, man, how do I feel about this movie? Like, you know, like I said, with all of the negative stuff I can say, like, it's long, it's kind of slow, it's kind of boring, but I'm intrigued by the visuals and the characters and their progression and where they're going, and I want to know what's happening. And it just abruptly ends, but I was thinking, man, this movie could be a little longer, you know, like an extra 30 minutes, because I really want to know more about this, you know, like, this is very interesting stuff. Like I said, I love movies like this. They're just like, you know, a meditation on life and everything. So with me thinking about this out loud, I think I love this movie. I think it's one of my favorites of this year, and I will definitely watch this again. And like I said, you know, it's a movie that's not for everyone, because it's basically, you know, you could say it's just a movie that is very pretentious. It's a very pretentious movie, and some people don't like pretentious stuff, you know, some movie that's preaching to them. But I don't think it is. I think it's just because it has so many different characters with so many different viewpoints that I feel like, you know, it's catering to everyone. It's saying that there are people who are this way, there are people who are that way, And, you know, we have to meet somewhere in the middle ground. I mean, we all live in this world and we're all experiencing life, but everyone on this planet experiences life differently because we're all going through different experiences. But I love this kind of stuff because it shows us people's lives and their experiences. And I love that kind of stuff. Like, I love just like observing people's lives and seeing how they live and seeing how they operate and everything. And so, yeah, this is a beautiful movie. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. I love it. I love this movie. I think it's one of my favorites of 2021. Yeah, it's a beautiful movie. I highly recommend it if you love movies that are meditations on life, where it's kind of somber, but it's beautiful. It's a beautifully told story, beautifully executed, beautiful visuals, great acting all across the board. I have really no complaints other than that it's slow and it's kind of boring. But it's warranted because this is like a meditation kind of movie. So yeah, I accept it. I love this movie. I love it. That's all I have to say.